Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I gotta try to make my videos shorter because I can't figure out this phone. I filled up all the memory. I don't know how. I guess with Safari, the Safari app kind of filled it up, but it's a lot, and I don't understand it. But anyway, I can only make videos maybe about 15 minutes, and then I run out, and I don't know what's going on here. I'd like to try to figure out how to make lower resolution videos like I did on my old phone. But anyway, here we are. This video, I think I want to aim at my brothers and sisters in the Orthodox Jewish community who are not fans of President Trump. I want to first of all say, it should go without saying, but I know it's difficult and something you don't really hear. You're totally within your right to be an Orthodox Jew and not be a fan of President Trump, and even to support Joe Biden. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't understand it, but it's not anything that's essentially wrong. Very happy that Chani Neuberger got the position in the Biden administration. It's not particularly new for her. I thought she was still serving from the Obama administration and through the Trump administration, if I'm not mistaken, but I maybe wasn't paying attention the past couple of years. I remember just invoking her at a lecture I gave that was before President Trump got into office, showing the diversity of and the first wave feminism of the Hasidic community. But anyway, with all that being said, it's totally in your right to have a different political view, and I understand and I see that there are different political views within our community, and in general, even when the communities do have some kind of community organizing efforts, they generally tend to be on the local level and not on certainly not on a national level. You don't have endorsement for president in general in our communities when the political action committees that are within the Hasidic communities, which are separate from the nonprofit 501c3s, but are organized by community organizers, etc., within the community. Askonim, we would call them. The term community organizer doesn't really do justice to what an Askan is, but it includes sometimes, depending on the, particularly if it's a political Askan, the community organize. It might include what's called community organizing, which is a term that we might be uncomfortable with on the conservative side, but it is what it is. And certainly in a community like ours that is rather organized, community organizing plays a role, not only in the religious sense but also in the political sense. But in general, like we said, when the communities don't tend to go by party lines in the local elections, they tend to go by what's in the interest of the community, and they can flip and switch very easily from one party to another, as we've seen, governor races and so forth, when the Hasidic community very strongly supported Governor Pataki, who was a Republican, but also they're not really kingmakers the way that a lot of people think in general. They usually tend to they'll usually support a winning candidate no matter what, and try to engender their favor. And unless there's a case where they know a candidate is going to lose and it's in the political interest to show gratitude through giving a vote that they know they're going to lose anyway. And there's a lot of thought that goes into these things, and not everybody agrees even in that realm, and not everybody follows the block votes, and sometimes there are opposing voting blocks within communities, etc. These are things that happen on the political level within the Hasidic communities. And it's much more complicated than people think. And it's not just the Rebbe says, and then that's it. That's not how it works at all. At least not in Satmar. It certainly doesn't work that way. Maybe in Skver, maybe because they're a little bit more devoted to be polite to their Rebbes in a way that's different than the way that exists in Satmar, where it's the devotion is to the Torah and not specifically to the Rebbe. The Rebbe represents Torah, and that's it. And it's not and it's not like the Rebbe is really much more than a figurehead in the Hungarian traditions, and he's also the Rav, but not not this all-powerful being that you see in the Russian and Ukrainian traditions. Anyway, putting that aside, I don't forgive anybody who has a different view, and I have dear friends who I love and respect who have a different view, and I think we agree to disagree. And as I is this, but then what I don't like is painting with a broad brush. And I'm learning and I'm seeing, there are a few good people who, for whatever reason, are identifying with the Democratic Party despite their very evil history and present. I've recently started listening a little bit to Tulsi Gabbard, and if she were the face of the Democratic Party, I would be much more comfortable with the Democratic Party. As much as she has her controversial issues, she really has a tremendous potential, and I hope one day she would be president, and I would probably be comfortable, voting for her for president as a Democrat. I'll be honest, over a great deal of Republicans. Despite her controversial stances on certain issues, I find that I would be proud to vote for Tulsi Gabbard over, let's say it was Jeb Bush, or I certainly, if it was Tulsi Gabbard versus Ted Cruz, I'd still vote for Ted Cruz. I'm still a big fan of Ted Cruz. And the truth is, as much as people are upset at Mike Pence, I would still probably vote for Mike Pence. I don't know, over Tulsi Gabbard. Maybe yes, maybe no. But I still like Mike Pence, even though I know obviously a lot of people are very angry at him. And I don't see justification in the anger. I think he did what he really truly believes was right, despite everything, and despite the fact that a lot of people disagree. But anyway, so I'm opening my eyes, and another figure who I certainly strongly disagree with politically would be Andrew Yang. But a lot of people claim that he was that he would impose some kind of statutory ban against circumcision, when in the end he was just saying his personal views. He doesn't circumcise his children, but he has no opposition to people practicing their religion and including in that circumcision, and I know a ton of people were mad at him because he said that he doesn't oppose it, but that's certainly a big deal breaker for any Jew who has even some modicum of concept of authentic tradition in some manner. That's generally that's a cutting off point, with no pun intended there. Obviously there are Jews who do identify in some form as religious expression who do not believe in circumcision, but that is an extreme breach of tradition, and so that's a point where it really becomes a different religion when people want to call in a rabbi for a baby naming for a boy who doesn't have a bris. There's something weird there. There's something wrong there. But again, it's a free country. I don't want to see anybody imposing this on anybody from a political standpoint either. I do believe in religious freedom, which includes religious freedom that I strongly disagree with personally. In any event, and it's the same thing as here with politics. And the truth of the matter is, you're perfectly within your rights to do and say the things that I'm going to be criticizing here, but I also am within my rights to criticize it. So meaning I'm saying personally, I don't have a problem with Orthodox Jews who oppose the president or who support President-elect Biden. At this point, he really is the president-elect. There's no more cognitive dissonance. There's still no such thing as the office of the president-elect, and I think he should be prosecuted for claiming there is such an office and acting as if there's such an office and appearing in front of that's a federal crime. But I don't know if it reaches the level of a high crime or misdemeanor that would bar him from the presidency. But I think before he reaches the presidency, he should have been prosecuted for that. But we all knew that wasn't going to happen. But it doesn't make it any less wrong what he did. But in any event, with all this being said, so I can understand that you're going to have a different view. And I would like to understand it. I would like to dialogue, because the truth of the matter is, I really truly believe that all the things that the media has said about President Trump have been lies, and that really there is such a thing as Trump derangement syndrome and Orange Man bad. And I really truly believe that Joseph Biden is a racist, and I don't think that necessarily disqualifies him from the presidency, but I think we should be honest about that, and there should be an honest and open discussion about that. And I think he's a dirty, disgusting politician. I'm not going to comment on his personal life, because I don't think that really matters in politics. And it would be hypocritical after President Trump, But the truth of the matter is, I don't really see a moral equivalency between Joe Biden's personal improprieties and Donald Trump's known personal improprieties. I think anybody dealing with a character like Trump knows what they're getting into in a relationship. Although I have a feeling that he's been better, but at least over the past few years, and the presidency has been somewhat a penance for his past life. But it's not for me to judge. I really don't care. and I don't think it's important. And there's a little bit of a difference, meaning I don't think Donald Trump was ever trying to cover up that much. I think just these were known, open, not even secrets. And as opposed to Biden, who really lied about things, lied about his first wife being killed by a drunk driver when there's no evidence of that, and the evidence is in the opposite direction. And the way that he took advantage of, the way he got into his current marriage was pretty low. But again, time has passed, and that doesn't mean that he would necessarily be disqualified from governance because of that. But anyway,